It's kind of like just an orchestra of chaos.
Oh, I love
You
that.
know, everything everywhere all at once going on.
So I'm Terry Person, and I am with Entertainment Engineering Magazine. This is an entertainment one-to-one today with Chris Porter. Chris works for igus Inc. He's the industry manager for stage and amusement. And let's see.
Correct.
So welcome aboard.
Awesome. It's great to be here. Glad we're getting to get to do this. This is exciting.
Yeah, I know. Finally, right? So I know we've talked a few times before. What you're doing is really pretty amazing. Um, some of the things I like to get started with is just give me a quick background of, how you got into doing this at all and where you came from.
Yeah. So I've always been in Central Florida. So I mean, I grew up going to the theme parks. I know I've got to dig through a box of memories, probably at my mom's house. I'm pretty sure I have one of the original Universal passes where they still put your photo on it somewhere in the memory bin.
Oh, that's
But that's, I mean, I've been going to, Universal and Disney and SeaWorld growing up. So I stayed local. I graduated from the University of Central Florida. Bounced around in a couple industries when I graduated. The fun years of going through just kind of any opportunities that came at you. So I worked in production operations for manufacturing. Uh, I worked with a company that designed and built and sold power tools for a bit. I worked in pest control for a little bit, which is probably my most out there little time period. And then I came to I found a home at igus. I joined the company about 6 years ago, managing Central Florida, Central and North Florida actually, and that's where I kind of got to come full circle back to a lot of projects with the parks. But in my before taking on the industry specific role, I worked with every industry. So we were working with aerospace, medical, packaging, um, uh, you name it, we work with it. And the amusement side was a small slice of the overall day to day. And over time, those projects just became more and more intriguing. And the more I looked into it, we offered solutions for stage technology, just entertainment. And I was like, well, why don't we just put this all together? Why don't we try having someone focus on, this industry? And so far for about a year now, it's been working out really well.
See, that's pretty cool. This is one of the things that's interesting to us because when we started the magazine, we did a similar kind of thing. We were in all kinds of other industries. I've worked all over in different magazines and in different industries, and this is the fun stuff. This is the
Mhm.
interesting stuff, and so we wanted to get involved more in this, which is what you're saying. Now, what's interesting to me is how the technologies from one industry translate into another industry. And as you said, you've been in aerospace and medical and everywhere else. And how does that shift back and forth between entertainment and those other industries? They're the same components? Are there the differences? How does this work?
Yeah, so the it's kind of funny how much overlap there is. At the end of the day, what I guess focuses on is motion, improving motion, and finding ways to do that. The amusements in particular, they have a ton of different I guess, new directions they want to go
Like
with,
creative?
advancing things, making things more realistic, more, which usually involves more motion. And their motion gets more and more complex with, it's not just vertical or horizontal anymore. They need it to go rotationally. They needed to lift while it rotates. They needed to bob and weave and move. And so for what I've found just from all the industries that I've seen, and then kind of specifying into one, is all of what there is no one product fits all. You've got to kind of take every project and go to the drawing board and see like what could work. And a lot of times it's field testing. One example I'll use is our robotics industry. We have a really robust selection of solutions for robotics. It's a huge market for us. And we have one of our products is for three-directional motion. It's not very supported, but it allows for proper cable protection in any direction you need to move it, varying, bend radiuses and sizes and all that. And so when we get a complex motion for an amusement application, a lot of times we can pull from that, whether it be just the cable management solution or the actual full retraction system to manage it and help. I say give it some bounce.
Yeah.
Allow it to travel out and back and stay in a nice tiny profile or as small a profile as we can get. So yeah, I may have drifted away from the question a little bit there, but there really is no one solution works for one thing. It really just, you got to throw your imagination at it and look at it from a perspective of, well, what could work?
Yeah.
May not have been tested fully yet, but could we try it? Could we see how it works? And that's some of the fun with a lot of these.
And so along those lines, how often do you find that you have to do a semi-custom or a custom piece versus using standard products in a new way? Or is it kind of a combination just depending on the application, of course?
So a lot of times we can get away with standard over the past year from the stage and theater side. It's probably our biggest achievement in the past year is we've come out with a lot of more catalog solutions with our e-spool systems and our zigzag systems for vertical motion. Previously, those had nearly been 100% custom. We had to take the cable pack, what are they using for power? What are they feeding, audio, video? What are we managing from the overhead grid down to the truss systems? How many of those cables are there? What's their weight? And then fully design a system around it. It would use our standard like e-chain track, but what we would need to do is do a custom framework for it. And as you know from your history in the engineering world, when you get custom, usually lead times go up, cost goes up, and our goal is the lowest cost solution that works. And so we've launched 2 versions of our zigzag system that are fully cataloged, which is great. It uses the frames are modded to where we can make them fit multiple travels. It is a standard footprint, but it's a solid chain with a lot of flexibility with how much we can fill it. And then for higher fill packs, we came out with another version that takes away the framework to reduce weight because we're potentially putting heavier cables in it. So we kind of found a balance there and being able to quickly ID a possible solution without having to go through a long process of engineering design to get a solution more quickly to the customers.
Yeah, this is pretty cool because what you're saying is what we've been saying too, is that the entertainment business is really pushing the envelope in a lot of ways. And then once you've pushed that envelope and you've done some semi-custom pieces, then that creates new opportunities for other industries to use similar kinds of things, which is
absolutely. And I mean, we always say just across the board, we love when people bring us something. We always tell them, ask the question. If we don't make it, but you want it, we'll throw it at our team, and chances are if they've heard it from enough areas, you're not the only one asking.
Yeah.
So it goes into a pile. We're a global based company. Our world headquarters is in Cologne, Germany. Our U.S. headquarters has been in Providence, Rhode Island. I think we just came up on our 40 years of igus in the U.S., which is exciting. And we're constantly growing, constantly looking for new applications where we can design something. I think we launch probably 20 to 30 new solutions or every year. We come out with at the end of the year a whole book of here's what we're developing, here's what we're working on, and trying to see how we can move it forward. And a lot of that comes from our customers and comes from projects. Do we have something that quite works? No. Maybe we start working on it.
Yeah, see, isn't that the coolest thing? So, along those lines, what do you think was your most fun, whether it was the most complicated or not, but the most kind of fun thing that you've worked on?
It's a great question because there's quite a few. That's a really good one. Because I have to think about one that I can possibly explain a little bit more. There's a lot there's some that I'm like, that was really cool, but I don't want to get in trouble.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, well, let's do that then. So can we narrow it down to like, was it theme park oriented? Was it
Yeah, it was.
oriented?
One of my most fun ones, and it was for a new. We'll leave it vague. There was a new theme park that may have opened up that you might have heard of recently here in Orlando, and worked on quite a few projects. And my most fun and most challenging actually probably came from that time frame as well. But one of them was, again, there was an application where we needed a really dynamic movement set, and looking around at our products, it was a small envelope of space. Really needed guided cable management. There was a lot of moving components where if cables were loose, they could have gotten jammed, they could have gotten caught. So to be able to achieve that, I had to pull from our robotics world and use one of our retraction systems in order to just help keep everything in a compact space. It was a lot of back and forth. It was a lot of getting samples out, getting test rigs done for with the client, and just being able to see that go from napkin sketches all the way through to going on the attraction and seeing what I had been working on for through our clients and through our end user was just really cool. And it was really fun throughout the whole process, because that one, again, was probably one of my most challenging ones, to try to figure out how to make something work in a way that we hadn't ever done it before, and just taking a crack at it and having it come out great. And the feedback from it from both teams was fantastic. And I wish I could tell you more about it. I'm hoping I left it vague enough. If an envelope shows up in my mailbox,
That's right. Give me a call. We'll cut that part.
Yeah. We'll have to do a later revision.
Yeah.
But oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, along those lines, so how long does lead time does something like that take? I mean, is that something you were working on for months or years?
I'd say that one probably was in the years range, just from initial just the initial discussions all the way through to the final implementation. Was probably close to 2 years.
And then you do other jobs in between while you're working on that job. You have other smaller jobs at the same time that you're working on as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm regularly working on multiple things. Right now, I'm still supporting my Central Florida, North Florida area for all industries, and then because I, just pure love, I'm taking on that industry role, trying to still grow it. But yeah, I mean, there's jobs that, meanwhile doing all that, I'm still supporting local concrete manufacturing, paver plants and their projects, which are present a whole different type of unique challenges in that space. Um, Between lead times, the systems, environmental. So yeah, I mean, it's nonstop.
So this is kind of cool because this is another thing that I find when I talk to a lot of engineers, of course, in this job, and I find that often they're working on multiple projects in multiple vertical industries all at the same time.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so when you're creating something, I suspect when you're doing something for the entertainment business, you're also thinking about all these other vertical industries and how can I cross use this from one place to another. This is one of the things we talk about as technology transfer. That when you're working on a project, you're not just working on that single project, but you're thinking about all the projects you have and what can I adapt from one to another. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, a lot of times, you'll just be working on something and it'll spark an idea and go, wait a second, I could use this. Like, why didn't I think of that in the first place? And then you'll bounce back to the other one. But yeah, it's kind of like just an orchestra of chaos.
Oh, I love
You
that.
know, Everything everywhere all at once going on the same time. And again, being in the territory for 6 years, I've developed a lot of relationships and branched out and again with all the different industries. I never know what type of project someone might be coming up with. Um, and fortunately, I think in my area, it's never consistent. It's always something different. It's not a production plant that's doing one type of thing over and over again, and then they bring out a new product that's similar, maybe a few tweaks. I've got most of my time is spent working on, hey, I have an idea for this. Can this work this way? Or can we do this? This is the type of travel I've got. Um,
And so
and
do those things usually start out with a phone call, or like you said, is it a napkin, at the bar, or how do they start and how do they progress? I mean, as far as the creative aspect of this.
so it's really all over the place. I mean, it can be a phone call, it can be an email, it can be a text message. A lot of times that initial meeting, I break it into two timelines, pre-COVID and post-COVID. Pre-COVID, a call or an email, setting up a time to come by their offices, whoever it is, and meet with them and look at drawings or CAD models or just even a list of like, just idea points. Post COVID, I'd say we've actually gotten a lot more efficient with our timing and being able to do things because we've got things like Zoom and Teams and you know someone can email me, especially like with stage and theater projects for a lot of like overhead trusses. Um, they can email me and say, hey, I've got this project. Here's kind of my list of info I know. And I can say, hey, you want to hop on a call real quick? Can we hop on a Teams call? Do you have drawings? And we can just pop it open, go over everything right then. And then I can get to work on putting together a system for what they need. It's really streamlined the process in being able to provide info and be able to get them not just a quote or a web link, but actually send them a CAD model, send them more information or my own sketches of kind of, hey, here's what I'm thinking. So I think it's really, again, I hate to be so vague, but it's such a wild west of how these things come about. And I think that, from my end, it's staying active and, you know, reaching out to people. I try to in my personal view of my role is it's connecting with people, and even if they don't have something right then, just making sure they know you're around, you're available, if they ever do need something, even if it's just a simple question, always taking the little things, because those turn into the big, big projects and big needs where you can start to really dive in and have some fun and get creative.
Yeah, I think that's the answer right there is you're still having fun with your job. And I think that's the point of most engineers I talk with. They wouldn't want to do anything else. So one last question, just because it's Entertainment Engineering Magazine. What are your favorite entertainment venues? I mean, is it theme parks and uh, movies, books?
I'm a big theme park guy. I love the rides, especially again, growing up going to the parks for so long, you see the evolution of things changing and growing, and you can still go hop on those rides that were there when you were, when I was a kid,
Mhm.
and see the expansion of how far they've come. But that would be my prime area of just where I feel at home.
Yeah.
Um, but I have gotten back into reading a lot recently. That's been a fun venture. Kind of restart the imagination side of things.
Yeah.
Um, Comic books,
Yep.
always love a good comic book.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and then you probably go to the Marvel movies, right?
Mm,
Uh,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, and that's the other thing too. With this that I never would have thought of is we've done projects with studios that work on those. The engineering side of what studios have become
mhm.
with the wraparound screens and the motion based platforms to allow everything to be set and moved and adjusted, and it's crazy how much automation
Yeah,
and engineering goes into the design of these venues now.
it's
Yeah,
pretty
they're
cool.
incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing right now what we can do. Well, look, thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it. This is the kind of talk I like having with people because it's fun. So,
Oh, absolutely. It's great to be able to connect with people and share kind of that interest, that shared interest, and kind of, spark it up. Especially for me, it's not being an engineer. That's, the I think the fun thing is I've worked with people who are really, really good at the mechanical and electrical and design. And then you've got someone like me who gets to come in and be like, well, we could do it this way, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm not worried about all the numbers, bouncing around and all this. Just like maybe,
yeah.
So no, it's really fun. It's a
And I think
blast.
that's what pushes the envelope a lot of times anyway, because somebody from the outside always comes in with ideas that you wouldn't think of because you're still standing within your limits.
Mhm.
You've got the limitations of whatever you're doing. So I'm running out of time, so we'll close this up. But thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Terry. Thank you for
Okay.
having me.
All right. Goodbye.